Section 26, 27, 28 and 29 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955. When someone files a divorce petition along with the alimony and the maintenance, many questions arises such as the custody of child, what about the property, appeal in the higher court and execution of decree, etc. etc. So guys, how are you all? Your guess is probably right today. In this video, I'll be discussing all these questions which are mentioned in the last 4 sections of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. In my last video, we have discussed and understood about the section 24 and 25 which were regarding the maintenance. So let's continue from section 26. However, going into detail, let's have an abstract of this video. As discussed above, I'll start with section 26 which deals about or defines about the custody of the children. Section 27 which deals about the disposal of property. Section 28 which deals about the appeal and the enforcement of the decree and the orders. And lastly, I'll move on section 29 which explains about the savings. So guys, let's begin with section 26. Under section 26 of the Act, the court has been empowered to pass any order or make arrangement in respect of custody, maintenance and education of children during the pendency of the proceedings or after any decree which is passed under the Act in any case between the parents of the children. The expression child in this section covers both the legitimate and the illegitimate child. The court has got the jurisdiction to make an order for the custody of an illegitimate child under section 26 of the Act. The father has got the primacy over the mother with respect to the custody of the minor's person as well as the property. However, welfare of child is the paramount consideration. After Marriage Laws Amendment Act of 2001, in section 26 of the Hindu Marriage Act, the following provisions shall be inserted that the application with respect to the maintenance and education of the minor children pending the proceedings for obtaining such decree as far as possible be disposed of within 60 days from the date of service of the notice on the respondent. The object of making such a provision is that the interest of children is not adversely affected or neglected on account of the proceedings between their parents. Whenever the court proceeds to pass such an order, it would take into consideration the wishes of the children as far as possible. Hence, we can say that the welfare of the children is given the utmost importance. Now, on the other hand, section 27, it talks about the disposal of property. The title tells us that this section is related to the property and disposal, right? So, let's see what it says. Under this section, the court has the power to make the proper orders with respect to any property which is presented at or about the time of the marriage which may belong jointly to both the husband and the wife. The object of this section is to prevent the multiplicity of the litigation in respect of certain property between the parties to any proceedings under the Act. Whenever the court exercises the power under this Act, 2 prerequisites will have to be complied with. Firstly, the said property should have been acquired at or about the time of the marriage, and secondly, it should be the joint ownership of husband and the wife. The court can exercise its power under the section suo motu or on the application of the party thereto, where the wife is alleged that the dispute properties which were gifted to her at the occasion of the marriage by her parents and other relatives for her use should be held as hers. The court accepted and set the contention and held it to be hers exclusive property. I hope this section is clear to you because it has meant only for making the division of property which is presented at or about the time of the marriage which may belong jointly to both the spouses. Now let's move on towards the section 28 which talks about the appeals from the decrees and orders. Now under section 28 of that, all decrees which are made by the courts in matrimonial matters except on the issue of the courts are appealable. Any order which is passed by the court under section 25 or section 26 are also appealable if they are not of interim nature. The period of appeal has also been fixed as 90 days from the date of the decree of the order. Here comes the section 28A which has been inserted by the Amendment Act of 1976. It talks about the enforcement of the decrees and orders. It simply talks about all the decrees and orders which are made by the court in any proceeding and these decrees and orders of the court shall be enforced in its original jurisdiction for the time being enforced. So here section 28 and section 28A ends up. I hope you all must be clear and I have made you easily understand about these sections. Yeah, right? So moving forward towards the section 29, which is the last section of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, which talks about savings of the marriage. Section 29 clause 1, it lays down that any Hindu marriage which is solemnized before the commencement of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 shall not be considered invalid on account of the fact that the parties there to belong to the same gotra or pravara or to the different religion, castes and subdivisions of the same caste. They must be otherwise be valid. Subsection clause 2 of the Act, it protects customary divorces. However, the party relying on the custom must specifically plead and prove the existence of the custom. Subsection clause 3, it saves the proceedings which were pending under any law for the time being in force, and such proceedings were to be continued and determined as if the act has not been enacted. The pending proceedings may relate to, that is, first is about declaring the any marriage which is null and void, secondly about annulling any marriage, thirdly about dissolving any marriage, or the fourth one is about the judicial separation. Subsection 4 provides that the marriages between the Hindus which are solemnized under the Special Marriage Act 1954, they are not affected by anything which is contained in the Act. A Hindu can marry under the Special Marriage Act 1954 and such marriages ceases to be governed by the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So here we end up all the sections of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So wasting no time, let's have a quick revision about these 4 sections. So as we discussed above, the section 26 it talks about the custody of the children. Section 27 it talks about the disposal of property. Section 28 talks about the appeal and the enforcement of decrees and orders. And lastly, section 29 it talks about the savings of the marriage. So however, if you have any doubt, any query regarding this, do comment in the comment box given below. Take care and stay safe.